Hello students, today let us try to understand the second poem, Geography Lesson from the text Honeydew. This poem is written by Zulfikar Ghosh, a writer and novelist of Pakistani origin settled and teaching in Texas, USA. The poem is about the way Earth looks from different altitudes. We will understand the poem in three different parts. Let's first understand part 1. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. Seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile, there seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. In these lines, the poet shares his perspective about the city when viewed at a certain height. The poet tells us that when the plane took off from the ground and went into the sky, he could view the city in a miniature. Everything looked small from above. The poet is able to understand why the city is designed in the way it is and why cities were developed in a certain way. What looked haphazard and unplanned on the ground gained clarity and order when viewed from that height. Now let's understand the second part of the poem. When the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran and why the valleys were populated. The logic of geography, that land and water attracted man, was clearly delineated when the jet reached 10,000 feet. From these lines, we understand that the poet comprehends the logic of geography. When the plane attained 10,000 feet, it was no longer difficult for the poet to understand the logic of geography or the way the geographical and territorial spaces were designed. He understood that water and land were essential for human existence. Therefore, the areas near the rivers were populated. The fact that water and land attracted man was made visible from that height. Now let's understand the third stanza. When the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. But it was difficult to understand that man on the earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across cities and to kill. From that height, it was not clear why. In these lines, the poet tells us that when the plane attained another 6 miles, it was easier to understand that the earth was round and that there was more water than land. But what the poet just could not understand was why men hated and killed each other. He could not understand the reason behind building high walls and harboring ill feelings towards each other.